Hello, everybody. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Coming up in this episode, we're going to look at a couple of different models with the big time storm system for you folks traveling to the Twin Cities or into South Dakota, where blizzard warnings are in effect. The latest in Hutch's weather begins right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, thanks to my sponsors at Robert Gibb & Sons, and thanks to you for your trust on Hutch's Weather here. Continue to hit the follow button on Facebook if you've not yet done so. It really does help Hutch get the word out to more folks that I'm still here watching the weather for you. Showers of snow continue across parts of Wyoming, Montana, and South Dakota tonight as this Colorado low really begins to get developed. Now, this particular model, which is the European model, shows the track of the storm exiting through the Rockies and quickly evolving into a pretty complex spring storm system as we go through the overnight. So things really get ripping overnight tonight. Be where you want to be if you're in the Central Plains. This includes the high plains of Nebraska, Kansas, and even through the eastern portions of Nebraska, central Kansas, and Iowa by the time we get to daybreak. So this storm really strengthens. We're talking serious wind gusts over 40, maybe over 50 miles per hour for some spots of Nebraska and Kansas. Notice the heavier bands of snow here in dark blue. Snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour will be likely in this convective type snow system as it's working its way through Iowa, eastern portions of Nebraska, including both Lincoln and Omaha, and then heading down into central Kansas. Now, this system lifts north and it's going to be having a border very close to northwestern Missouri State. So if you're out there in St. Joe's, know that you're right on that boundary. To the south of you, rain, maybe even some ice and mixed precipitation as the heavy band of snow sneaks right through Iowa, north central Iowa, south central Minnesota, and on into central parts of Wisconsin. Now, this snow system exits pretty quickly as we go through Wednesday night into areas north of the Great Lakes with a trailing band of wraparound snow behind it. Now, that's one look at this storm system, but there is a risk for some severe weather as we go into the Wednesday evening time frame. Here's the low pressure center, and right here there'll be a couple of different lines of activity forming in this warm, moist air sector of the storm. Along the warm front, right in this vicinity, there could be some extra spin in the atmosphere. So all modes of severe weather will be possible as we go through your Wednesday evening, basically from parts of eastern Iowa, central Illinois, also eastern Missouri, and off to points east in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and also Tennessee and down into the northern reaches of the Gulf Coast states for Alabama, Mississippi, and eventually working its way into North Georgia. This storm system will impact snow in the state of Michigan as it works through the region on Friday, but then lifts pretty quickly out to the northeast and towards Nova Scotia. And that's a look at one factor of the storm from this particular model. Here's a quick peek at the American model with regards to this particular storm system. Now, the American model shows something just a little bit different, but the track is still staying to the south of the Minneapolis area. So here it goes. Look at this. A very heavy band of snow in the purple here, crossing right across the Omaha-Lincoln corridor here. And look at this. Kansas City still on the dry side of this storm system. Look at western and northern Iowa getting shellacked. So if you are in Atlantic Iowa and points north, if you are north of, say, Des Moines, this really could be a very heavy band of snow. This particular model carries it a little farther north, closer to the Twin Cities. Look at almost all, including Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay getting heavy snow on the American model. So my thought on that, this American model is a little bit too overblown. It's my professional opinion on this storm system. I think the European model has been a little bit more consistent, but there will likely be a very heavy band of convective snow, 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates, as well as at risk for thunder, sleet, and thunder snow with this storm as it moves through on Wednesday into Wednesday night. There is also the central and high plains chance for some severe weather. Not the high plains, I should say the central and northern plains, a chance for some severe weather working its way through the Ohio River Valley, Indiana, Illinois, as well as portions of eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin as we go into your Wednesday. All right, that's a look at the storm system. Now let's take a look at snowfall potential. For that, we're going to smoke into the north, central, and central United States. Let's go right smack dab into the middle part of the country here. And as we take a look at the two basic models and their rendition of snowfall potential with this system as it works its way through, look at Nebraska. So if you get down here into Omaha, a big time ramp. increasing amount. So a trace to 4 inches of snow anywhere you see the blue, and then anywhere from say 3 to 11 inches of snow will be possible, even more in isolated areas. You're looking at northern parts of Nebraska here as you get into Sioux Falls and Sioux City, particularly Sioux City, Iowa. Now let's go up into the northern plains for the next look and take a look at what we're expecting there. Southern and eastern parts of Minnesota with this storm system as it works its way in. And look at this ridiculousness. Okay, so snowfall aplenty working its way into southeastern parts of Minnesota here near Rochester on this American model, and it explodes this storm system with plentiful moisture and precipitation over 1 foot, maybe over 18 inches in a few portions of northern Wisconsin. And look at the UP and northern parts of Michigan out there on the fingers of the mitten. Okay, now let's take a look here at the European model, which I would put a little bit more weight in the forecast from this. Well, let's go to this and let's look at the snowfall potential. And as we go through, notice a little bit more of a southern track, a narrow band of 3 to say 8 inches, with a few areas getting a little more than that through central Iowa, northern Iowa, and again, both models shellacking northern Wisconsin. And this does include that Milwaukee area, Green Bay, and even as far south as Madison, Wisconsin, with an increase rapidly as you go to the north and central part of the state. That's a look at your weather. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. If you're traveling to the south on Interstate 29 out of the northern plains, on Interstate 35 out of Minneapolis towards Des Moines, I-29 all the way south through portions of Iowa as well as Nebraska, expect some dangerous and winter conditions working their way through. We have blizzard warnings for these areas. Blizzard warnings. You can check road reports anytime, anywhere on hutchesweather.com here in the region of the northern plains, including Iowa, including you folks out there in Minnesota, Nebraska, as well as South Dakota. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, and I appreciate your follows on Facebook and your subscriptions right here on YouTube.